Hello, and welcome to the 109th episode of Scripture in a Year, hosted by Saints Peter and Paul Orthodox Church in the Albanian Archdiocese of the OCA. Today's reading is from the book of Job, chapters 1 through 4. There was a man in the land of Ostesis whose name was Job. That man was true, blameless, righteous, and God-fearing, and he abstained from every evil thing. Now he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and his cattle consisted of 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys in the pastures. Moreover, he possessed a very large number of house servants. His works were also great on the earth, and that man was the most noble of all the men of the East. His sons would visit one another and prepare a banquet every day, and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When the days of their drinking were ended, Job sent and purified them, and he rose early in the morning and offered sacrifices for them according to their number, as well as 1 calf for the sins of their souls. For Job said, "Lest my sons consider evil things in their mind against God." Therefore Job did this continually. Then, as it so happened one day, that behold, the angels of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and the devil also came with them. The Lord said to the devil, "Where did you come from?" So the devil answered the Lord and said, "I came here after going about the earth and walking around under heaven." And the Lord said to him, "Have you yet considered my servant Job, since there is none like him on the earth, a blameless, true, and God-fearing man, and one who abstains from every evil thing?" So the devil answered and said before the Lord, "Does Job worship the Lord for no reason? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his cattle have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and touch all he has, and see if he will bless you to your face." Then the Lord said to the devil, "Behold, whatever he has I give to your hand, but do not touch him." Thus the devil went out from the Lord. Now there was a day when Job's sons and daughters were drinking wine in the house of their elder brother. And behold, a messenger came to Job and said, "The yokes of oxen were plowing, and the female donkeys were feeding beside them. Then raiders came and took them captive, and killed the servants with the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said to Job, "Fire fell from heaven and burned up the sheep, and likewise consumed the shepherds, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "Horsemen formed 3 bands against us, surrounded the camels, took them captive, and killed the servants with the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine with their elder brother, and suddenly a great wind came from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. And it fell on your children, and they died, and I alone have escaped to tell you." Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved off the hair of his head, and fell to the ground and worshipped, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. As it seemed good to the Lord, so also it came to pass. Blessed be the name of the Lord." And all these things that happened, Job did not sin against the Lord, or charge God with folly. Then again, as it so happened another day, the angels of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and the devil also came among them to present himself before the Lord. The Lord said to the devil, "Where did you come from?" Then the devil said before the Lord, "I came here from walking around under heaven and going about all the earth." Then the Lord said to the devil, "Have you considered my servant Job, since there is none like him on the earth, an innocent, true, blameless, and God-fearing man, and one who abstains from every evil thing? Moreover, he still holds fast to his integrity, though you told me to destroy his possessions without cause." Then the devil answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin, whatever a man has he will pay in full for his life. Yet truly stretch out your hand and touch his bones and his flesh, and see if he will bless you to your face." So the Lord said to the devil, "Behold, I give him over to you, only spare his life." Thus the devil went out from the Lord and struck Job with malignant sores from head to foot. So he took a potsherd to scrape away the discharge, and sat on a dunghill outside the city. When a period of time passed, his wife said to him, "How long will you hold out, saying, Behold, I will wait a little longer, looking for the hope of my salvation. Listen, your memory is wiped out from the earth, your sons and daughters, the pangs and pains of my womb, which I suffered in vain and with hardships. You yourself are sitting down, spending the nights in the open air among the rottenness of worms, and I go about as a wanderer and a handmaid, from place to place and from house to house, waiting for the setting of the sun, so as to rest from my labors and pains that now beset me. But say a word against the Lord and die. Then Job looked at her and said, You have spoken as one of the foolish women speaks. If we accepted good things from the Lord's hand, shall we not endure evil things? In all these things that happened to him, Job did not sin with his lips against God. Now when Job's 3 friends heard of all the evil things that had come upon him, each one came to him from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite king, Bildad the Shuhite ruler, and Zophar the Naamathite king. For they came to him with one accord, to visit and comfort him. Now when they saw him from a distance, they did not recognize him, and they cried with a loud voice and wept. Each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his head. So they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke to him, for they saw his affliction was terrible and very great. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day, saying, May the day perish on which I was born, and the night in which they said, Behold, a male child. May that day be darkness, and may the Lord not regard it from above, nor may the light come upon it. May darkness and the shadow of death seize it. May a cloud settle on it. May that day and night be cursed. May darkness carry it away. May it not come into the days of the year. May it not be numbered with the days of the month. But may that night be sorrow. And may no gladness come upon it, nor joy, but may he who curses that day curse it. Even he who is about to subdue the great sea monster. May the stars of that night be darkened, and may it remain dark. May it not come into the light, and may it not see the morning star arise. Because it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, for it would have removed sorrow from my eyes. Why did I not die in the womb? Why did I not perish immediately when I came from the womb? Why did the knees receive me, and why did I nurse the breasts? For now I would have been lying down in quiet. I would have slept and been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth, who were insolent with their swords, or with rulers who had abundant gold and filled their houses with silver. Or I would have been like an untimely birth, proceeding from his mother's womb, or like infants who never saw the light. There the ungodly have burnt out the fury of wrath. There the weary in body are at rest. There men of ancient times have ceased together to hear the voice of those who collect taxes. The small and great are there, and the servant who feared his master. Why is light given to those in bitterness, and life to souls in pain, who long for death but do not obtain it, digging for it like treasures, and would be very joyful if they could obtain it? Death is a rest to such a man, for God is against him. For groaning comes before my food, and I weep and am oppressed with terror. For the terror I was concerned about came to me, and what I feared happened to me. Neither was I at peace or quiet, nor at rest, for wrath came upon me. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Have you been often spoken to in distress? But now who shall endure the force of your words? For though you instructed many and strengthened the hands of the weak one, and raised up the sick with your words, and imparted courage to feeble knees, yet now pain has come upon you and touched you, and you are anxious. Is not your fear, your hope, and the integrity of your way of life changed into folly? Can you remember anyone pure who has perished, or true people who were altogether uprooted? According to what I have seen, those who plow harmful things, and those who sow them will reap pain for themselves. They will perish by the command of the Lord. They will be destroyed by the breath of his wrath. The strength of the lion, the voice of the lioness, and the exulting cry of dragons are extinguished. The old lion has perished for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness have left one another. But if there had been any truth in your words, none of these evils would have befallen you. Shall not my ear receive extraordinary things from him? But just as when terror falls upon men with dread at a noise in the night, Shivering and trembling befell me, and caused my bones to shake. And a spirit came before my face, and my hair and flesh shook with fear. I arose, but could not recognize it. I looked, and there was no form before my eyes, but rather a gentle breeze and a voice saying, "What? Shall a mortal man be pure in the Lord's sight, or blameless before him in his works? If he puts no trust in his servants, and if he observes a perverse way in his angels, how much more those who dwell in the houses of clay, of whom we also are formed of the same clay? Does he not smite them like a moth? They no longer exist from morning till evening. They have perished, for they cannot help themselves. For he blows upon them, and they are withered. They have perished for lack of wisdom." Here ends the reading for today.